Chapter 5, Part 1 of How I Found Livingstone. This is the LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lizzie Driver. How I Found Livingstone. Travels, Adventures and Discoveries in Central Africa, including 4 months' residence with Dr. Livingstone. By Sir Henry M. Stanley. Chapter 5, Part 1. Through Ukwa, Ukami, and Udo to Usagua. On the 21st of March, exactly 73 days after my arrival at Zanzibar, the 5th caravan, led by myself, left the town of Bagamoyo for our first journey westward, with "Forward" for its mot de go. As the kirangozi unrolled the American flag, and put himself at the head of the caravan, and the pagazis, animals, soldiers, and idlers were lined for the march, we bade a long farewell to the dolce far niente of civilized life, to the blue ocean, and to its open road to home, to the hundreds of dusky spectators who were there to celebrate our departure with repeated salvos of musketry. Our caravan is composed of 28 pagazis, including the kirangozi, or guide, 12 soldiers, under Captain Mbarak Bombay, in charge of 17 donkeys and their loads; Selim, my interpreter, in charge of the donkey and cart and its load; 1 cook and sub, who is also to be tailor and ready hand for all, and leads the grey horse; Shaw, once mate of a ship, now transformed into rear guard and overseer for the caravan, who is mounted on a good riding donkey and wearing a canoe-like tepee and sea boots; and lastly, on the splendid bay horse presented to me by Mr. Godhu, myself, called Bana Makuba, the Big Master, by my people, the vanguard, the reporter, the thinker, and leader of the expedition. Altogether the expedition numbers on the day of departure 3 white men, 23 soldiers, 4 supernumeraries, 4 chiefs, and 153 pagazis, 27 donkeys, and 1 cart, conveying cloth, beads, and wire, boat fixings, tents, cooking utensils and dishes, medicine, powder, small shot, musket balls, and metallic cartridges, instruments and small necessaries, such as soap, sugar, tea, coffee, Liebig's extract of meat, pemmican, candles, etc., which make a total of 153 loads. The weapons of defence which the expedition possesses consist of 1 double-barrelled breech-loading gun, smooth bore, 1 American Winchester rifle, or 16-shooter, 1 Henry rifle, or 16-shooter, 2 Stars breech-loaders, 1 Jocelyn breech-loader, 1 elephant rifle, carrying balls 8 to the pound, 6 single-barrelled pistols, 1 battle-axe, 2 swords, 2 daggers, Persian kamars purchased at Shiraz by myself, 1 boat spear, 2 American axes 4 pounds each, 24 hatchets, and 24 butcher knives. The expedition had been fitted with care. Whatever it needed was not stinted, everything was provided. Nothing was done too hurriedly, yet everything was purchased, manufactured, collected, and compounded with the utmost dispatch, consistent with efficiency and means. Should it fail of success in its errand of rapid transit to Ujiji and back, it must simply happen from an accident which could not be controlled. So much for the personnel of the expedition and its purpose, until its point de mire be reached. We left Bagamoyo, the attraction of all the curious, with much éclat, and defiled up a narrow lane shaded almost to twilight by the dense umbrage of 2 parallel hedges of mimosa. We were all in the highest spirits. The soldiers sang, the kirangozi lifted his voice into a loud bellowing note, and fluttered the American flag, which told all onlookers, "Lo, a Musungu's caravan!" and my heart, I thought, palpitated much too quickly for the sober face of a leader. But I could not check it. The enthusiasm of youth still clung to me, despite my travels. My pulses bounded with the full glow of staple health. Behind me were the troubles which had harassed me for over 2 months. With that dishonest son of a Hindi, Soor Hadji Palloo, I had said my last word. Of the blatant rabble of Arabs, Banyans, and Baluchis I had taken my last look. With the Jesuits of the French mission I had exchanged farewells, and before me beamed the sun of promise as he sped towards the Occident. Loveliness glowed around me. I saw fertile fields, riant vegetation, strange trees. I heard the cry of cricket and pewit, and sibilant sound of many insects, all of which seemed to tell me, "At least you are started." What could I do but lift my face towards the pure glowing sky and cry, "God be thanked." The first camp, Shambag on Erra, we arrived at in 1 hour 30 minutes, equal to 3 1/4 miles. This first, or little journey, was performed very well, considering, as the Irishman says. The boy Selim upset the cart not more than 3 times. Zaidi, the soldier, only once let his donkey, which carried 1 bag of my clothes and a box of ammunition, lie in a puddle of black water. The clothes have to be re-washed. The ammunition box, thanks to my provision, was waterproof. Kamna perhaps knew the art of donkey driving, overjoyful at the departure, had sung himself into oblivion of the difficulties with which an animal of the pure asinine breed has naturally to contend against, such as not knowing the right road, and inability to resist the temptation of straying into the depths of a manioc field; and the donkey, ignorant of the custom in vogue amongst ass drivers of flourishing sticks before an animal's nose, and misunderstanding the direction in which he was required to go, ran off at full speed along an opposite road until his pack got unbalanced and he was fain to come to the earth. But these incidents were trivial, of no importance, and natural to the first little journey in East Africa. The soldier's point of character leaked out just a little. Bombay turned out to be honest and trusty, but slightly disposed to be dilatory. Uledi did more talking than work, while the runaway Ferajji and the useless-handed Mabruki Burton turned out to be true men and staunch, carrying loads the sight of which would have caused the strong-limbed Hamals of Stamboul to sigh. The saddles were excellent, surpassing expectation. The strong hemp canvas bore its 150 pounds burden with the strength of a bull hide, and the loading and unloading of miscellaneous baggage was performed with systematic dispatch. In brief, there was nothing to regret. The success of the journey proved our departure to be anything but premature. The next 3 days were employed in putting the finishing touches to our preparations for the long land journey and our precautions against the Masika, which was now ominously near, and in settling accounts. Shamba Gonra means Gonra's field. Gonra is a wealthy Indian widow, well disposed towards the Wasungu whites. She exports much cloth, beads, and wire into the far interior, and imports in return much ivory. Her house is after the model of the town houses, with long sloping roof and projecting eaves, affording a cool shade, under which the pagazis love to loiter. On its southern and eastern side stretch the cultivated fields which supply Bagamoyo with the staple grain, matama, of East Africa. On the left grow Indian corn, and muhogo, a yam-like root of whitish colour, called by some manioc. When dry, it is ground and compounded into cakes similar to army slapjacks. On the north, just behind the house, winds a black quagmire, a sinuous hollow, which in its deepest part always contains water, the muddy home of the brake and rush-loving kiboko, or hippopotamus. Its banks, crowded with dwarf fan palm, tall water reeds, acacias, and